guiding light is all I know. Through wood and steel, through fire and lace, I'm blessed to walk within your grace. Is to a throig arcane. You laid the path before me. You guided every step. Raise the hammer, string the bow. Her gift is all I need to know. Through toil and trial, through heart and hand, her grace builds up this mighty land. Is the grass the dead time it's sore? Build the land, our hearts within. From dawn till dusk, I work, I strive. With your blessing, I'll survive. The loom, the forge, the sword, the grain in your name, I rise again. Strength in you lies skill. Each victory, each talent, each trial. No task too great, no skill too small. Your gifts, dear goddess, guide us all. Into force. Without your light, we have no guide, but with your hand, our place abides. Raise the hammer, string the bow. Her gift is all I need to know. Through toil and trial, through heart and hand, her grace builds up this mighty land. Is the grass the dead? Our greatest deed, by the grace of the goddess we are free. We'll build the land, our hearts within. I'm blessed to walk within your grace. Blessed by her grace, forever, forever.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Pax Dei, the Search for Steel. I'm your host, and I'm needing to figure out if the audio is okay, so I'm going to have to figure it out, and it looks good. Okay, and I left the monitor on. That will not do. Okay, so I tried this on Rumble last night, and it was just a nightmare. I'm going to have to figure out how to do a live stream on Rumble. I'd like to do a live stream on Rumble paired with a live stream on YouTube, and that'll come up, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Anyway. Hello, everyone. As I totally ran. Welcome to episode 119, Pax Dei, the Search for Steel. I'm your host, Daniel. Your avatar in front of you is Empire. Empire is man of all trades in Pax Dei. However, in the 1.0 or the launched version, I'm not going to be able to do because your skill, your profession is not going to get as high in a short period of time. Like I've been only playing, I'd say only, been about 6 months, I would say. So it took me 6 months to get all of this. And I play a good 4 times a week at least, at a minimum. But anyway, I will kind of interweave some pro tips for Pax Day through the topic tonight, which, whether you're a longtime listener or joining us for the first time, the channel is about learning, about reason, logic, about using ancient philosophy, thinkers, and pairing that or integrating that into the thinkers of today, modern thinkers and modern philosophical thinkers. Also, research. What have we done recently? So, with all that said, this is a premiere. Well, it's a new series, right? And basically, grab a drink, settle in. Let's talk about something that touches every single one of us, which is education. Why does education matter is the first question. However, the second question would be, what am I going to show you tonight? Do I change into my really tough stuff? Yeah, I'm going to have to make a curved bow soon. I am not liking that. Maybe I bring my quality stuff today. I always gonna bring my axe because axes are cool. And I need to work on it. I do have, oh, I already have the sword in there. So the sword's there. I need a two-handed spear, but I need my two-handed spear. My 3-pip. Gives me a little bit more punch. And I need a good... Oh. That durability is not great. There we go. We don't know what I'm going to be pursuing or how it's going to be pursued, so... And I also want to get some more healing potions. So I think I put him... I was running out of room. So I put him somewhere. Here we go. Here we go. Alright. I think I'm pretty much good to go. Let me grab another piece of food. Pro tip, when you're going away from your house for a while, bring some different things. Oh, arrows. Yeah, gosh. I mean, for this trip, I think I will bring some wrought iron. Since I'm hunting, I'm looking for wool. That is my... That's going to be my go-to. Right now, there's a system... They did a system update. So as I cross the border, this could get a little bit choppy. One of my friends, he set up residence here. Very cool. He's getting his house together. And then we'll go up here, and then we'll start our, we'll answer, hopefully, a lot of questions about education, and hopefully craft something new. So why does education matter? Well, it's not just about diplomas or paychecks. It's the heartbeat of who we are as individuals and as a society. It's how we learn. How we learn to think, how we learn to create, right? How we learn to connect, and how we learn to tackle the big, messy challenges of our lives. All right, I should be... See how it snapped? Wow, okay. Weird. Let me cross this border, see if it'll do it this time. I think they tried to fix the border snap, or the border, and as they did it, it didn't really go well. Anyway, let me get my health back. And I gotta do something here. Looks like my resolution's not great, but it's not bad. Let me see if I can. That's not bad. Okay. I'm trying to monitor it on the other channel because I wasn't sure if my setup is gonna do well. But anyway, let's talk about this. So today we're not here to tweak the edges of what's broken. We're here to reimagine education from the ground up. What could it look like if we blended the wisdom of the past with the discoveries of today? That's what we're doing. And how can it serve you, not just some faceless system? Right? All right, let me attack. Every time I attack something that needs my concentration, I'm going to need to concentrate a little bit. I forgot my shield's tiny because it's the best shield in the game. There we go. All right. First combat down. Looking good. There's no wool from Dire Wolves. I was going for the leather. Not sure if... Really, the wool only comes from boars and bears. Which I'm not sure I'm going to be able to take a bear. So it should be interesting to say the least. And then we'll come over to this here. Wait for it to come back up. All right. So we're going to explore this through three powerful lenses. 1, ancient knowledge. 2, scientific research. And 3, modern thinkers. Picture this. Socrates grilling his students with questions in ancient Athens. As I miss my mark. Confucian scholars shaping moral leaders in China, or India's... I got too close. That's my own fault. It's okay. Let me grab this guy real quick. Really? I'm happy with that. Anyway, I have to read my notes at the same time I'm playing the game, so that's the pausing in between the subject matter and the game, because it's not on the same screen. Yay! So that's why you're hearing me pause, and sometimes I stop, and sometimes you'll see my inventory come up. That's because I need to scroll on the other screen to get my notes aligned with what I'm talking about. That's how I roll here. If you want to play the game and talk at the same time, especially on deep subjects, I haven't come up with a format yet, so this is the best format I have so far. Hopefully I'll be able to refine this. That's an angry badger. I call it a angry possum, technically. Yes. Pretty sure about possums and badgers are the same. Actually, we'll work down this way. Okay. So, so Confucian scholars shaping moral leaders in China. Picture that. Or India's gurus guiding kids in everything from math to meditation. Then fast forward to the brain science showing us how we really learn. And folks like Sir Ken Robinson pushing us to rethink creativity in schools. These aren't random dots. We're connecting them to build something new. What's on the table? Well, we'll dig into personal learning. I think that's important, right? That might be too far away. I didn't. Should come over. Nice. Hunting is definitely a skill in this game. Okay. So we'll dig into personal learning and how you chase what lights you up, right? What are you interested in? We'll hit workplace learning, skills that matter during your job. Then we'll get wild. We'll go into MMORPGs. Yeah, video games like World of Warcraft, or Pax Dei, or EVE Online, and gamified learning. Because who says education can't be fun? We'll also tackle trade education, governance, like who should run the show, and wrap it up with a debate and some real world ideas for the US, mostly because that's where I'm based. Thought I might take some damage there, but I didn't. I missed anything? Huh. It's hard to see through things. Doesn't look like anybody's on tonight, which is weird. Anyway. And I think I got the world sound on. This is... I didn't know there's a badger there. They redid the world, so some of the areas are... Some of the world has changed. Every so often, the wolves you can back away from, the boars I'm not going to be able to, so... Just to give you an idea of what's going on with my character. They put badgers everywhere now. Alright. So, let me ask you. What has education done for you lately? I know it's a silly question, but it drives to the core of our conversation, right? I don't think I can move away from this guy. No. So I'm just gonna have to barrel through the boars again. That's fine. I'm glad I brought Big Shield. Blocking and running in this game is well worth it. The game, you can't win the game without blocking and or running from more difficult foes. So there is that. Ooh. so confident that I threw the arrow and I was like, I'll go home. So I started to charge toward him. That's not a good place to be in the mindset of this game. Is overconfident. So what has education done for you lately? I can't believe I got him. Anyway, is it sparking joy or just stress? Could it be more than a factory churning out test takers? Because that's what it feels like, doesn't it? This guy go. Did I lose him? I thought he was behind here. Sometimes you lose the entire corpse, so you have to log. See where you actually hit him. I lost the second one. That's alright, he doesn't have any, so I'm okay with that. I'm really here just for me. Anyway. So these are here's one. And if we could design it to make us all thrive and not just survive, can we do that? These are big questions. And we're not shying away from them. Over the next maybe couple of hours, we'll unpack the past, wrestle with the present, and dream up a future where education isn't a chore. It's a superpower. So if everybody's ready, let's buckle in. Let's dive into it, the foundations, and then see where this journey takes us. And if you're in the chat, by all means, go ahead and comment on the game or comment on my presentation. That is why we are here, to learn, mostly. Well, solely, really. Anyway. Ooh. He's stuck in his loop. That's alright. As long as I keep hitting him, he might not just teleport to me. There we go. If I don't have to attack these boars, I won't. Like I said, I'm here for the wolf. That is it. And probably leather. I can afford to get some leather. I'm okay with leather. I'm going to the pail, which give me the spookiness. Change the biome. Pretty cool, right? Then we go back out. Pail. Back down toward the road. Where there are more deer. And I want to stay out of the pail. Yeah, it's my own fault. Let's see if I can hit this guy all the way over there. That other guy's running. Collect my bounty. And I could pray to the goddess for skinning. But I'm just not really feeling it. I call it a goddess. It could be a god. I'm really not as versed in the lore as I should be of Pax Dei. So, goddess to me, developers. Anyway. So let's get into the foundations of education. Let's start at the beginning, right? Let's lay the foundation to our discussion. Let me look on this side. I gotta watch for bears now because I used to be able to take bears, but now it's a lot more. It's not even skill. You just need damage and you need hit points essentially. Okay. So way back when education wasn't about desks and detention, let's start there. Ancient societies had some brilliant ideas about learning, and they're still worth still worth a look, right? We should still discuss these. Let me just line up these shots real quick and talk more. They made an effort on sound effects. I think they achieved the sound effects. This is hunting 101, and I'm hunting in one of the. It's I think a 2 skull area. I could have hit him with 4. I don't need that one. Okay. All right. So, ancient societies had some brilliant ideas, right? So they're still, like I said, they're still worth a look. So we're talking Greece, China, and India. 3 of the heavy hitters within the ancient world, with systems that shaped minds and cultures alike. So let's break it down. In ancient Greece, we had really the birth of the Socratic method. Heck, it's named after a Greek. So let's start there. All right, so this was around 470 to 400 BC, right? Where Socrates turned teaching into an art. He didn't lecture or hand out worksheets. He asked questions. This is the Socratic method in a nutshell. And it's a way to dig into the truth through dialogue and debate. I knew I was going to miss that one after he moved. Here, because there's 4 here. And if I can get at least 3 shots on them first, it'll be a lot easier. There we go. That 4 shot is gonna save my shield, honestly. Notice my shield's taking a little bit of damage. Okay. So imagine sitting in a dusty agora. Socrates is pacing around asking you, what's justice? You stammer an answer, and he hits you with, but why? He's relentless. Ellen Huas, they called it. Pronounced, let's see, Cross. No, Ellenhus. It means cross-examination and makes you really rethink everything. So in Plato's Republic, there's an epic showdown, and boy, I'm going to butcher this name. So these ancient names, I am not as familiar as I should be with the pronunciations. So frequently, this is Thera Imacus Theris Machius. Yeah. Anyway, this guy says justice is whatever the strong say it is. And of course, Socrates doesn't buy it. He asks, if the strong are wrong, is that still justice? That's, I think, a really good question, right? All right, let's take out 2 boars real quick. They're probably going to come at me together. There we go. That wasn't too bad. I thought it would be a little bit worse for me, but it didn't turn out too bad at all. Okay. So, what is justice, right? He goes, or I'm sorry, he's saying we're at the Reimagined. I think it's Thermiticus. But he squirms, right? Is if the strong are wrong, is it still justice, right? So this guy squirms and he contradicts himself. And bam, Socrates shows that real justice isn't just power. It's about reasoning your way through something deeper. It wasn't about memorizing facts. Does that sound familiar to anyone? No, it's really. I didn't think I'd get that one, but it was worth a shot. Anyway, so it's about wrestling with ideas that make sense, or until they make sense, right? So, law schools actually use this type of reasoning today, right? And it makes a lot of sense, right? Because a lot of people say lawyers think a little bit differently. Well, why is that? It's because they use the Socratic method. There it is. If only in ancient times could you take down a deer with one shot. I am full, so what do I want to drop? Anything that's not what I need. I don't think I need those. Definitely need that. That. I'm thinking about these fats and all those. All right. We gotta stay away from that camp. Okay. Let's get back to the lesson. Okay. So basically, think of a professor that's grilling students over a case until they crack the logic themselves wide open. Why does this matter? Well, it's personal. Socrates tailored his questions to whoever he was talking to, pushing them to their edge. It's education as a spark, not a script. Right? It's about critical thinking, the kind we need when life throws us curveballs. If everybody knew critical thinking, which was an entire episode of one of my former episodes, I'll probably revisit it now that I'm getting a little bit bigger of an audience, especially on Rumble. Critical thinking is so important. Okay, so let's hop over to China. So right around 551 to 479 BC, and who do we see? Confucius and Hong Qi. Or that's how he was known to his friends. Hong Qi, Qiu. This guy saw education as a path to a good life and a good society. His ideas are packed into Analects, a collection of sayings that read like wisdom nuggets. He said, quote, "In education, there should be no class distinctions." Analects 15.39, if you're interested. Radical for his time, by the way. Learning wasn't just for the elite, it was for everybody. That's what he believed, right? And the elite, of course, we know ignorance is the pathway to control. Many people believe that, right? And I think it's been proven out in history. So Confucius wanted you to become Junzi, a gentleman or a noble person, not by birth, but by character. You'd study the classics like poetry and history, practice rituals for discipline, and reflect on your actions. Now, here's something. When you meet someone, or quote, when you meet someone better than yourself, turn your thoughts to becoming his equal. When you meet someone not as good, look within and examine your own self. Analects 4.17 or 417. That's a call to grow, right? Not compete with that person. You don't want to be better or worse than anybody, but you want to grow as a person. I would say that's pretty smart and pretty accurate with many people that we today, right? Right now, we don't adhere to that. We want to be better. We compete to be better than other people. But is that really what we need to do? And that's what Confucius says. Look within yourself. Don't look to the outside, but to the other person. Pretty cool. So teachers were huge here. Mentors, not just instructors. Mentors. Picture a student bowing to their master, soaking up not just book smarts, but life lessons. It was slow, deliberate, and deeply personal, focused on harmony inside and out. Sound familiar? That teacher-student vibe still echoes in mentorship today, but it's nowhere near, in the United States especially, it's nowhere near what it should be. Right between the eyes. Okay. Now we have India's Gurukul system. Around 1500 to 600 BC. For the Gurukul system, I can't believe I got him through the tree. I'm gonna have to cut some of these for shorts. So, anyway, at any rate, let's continue with the Gurukul system. So you look at Gurukul actually means teacher's family. Guru means teacher, and Kul, K-U-L, is home. Students called Shishyas lived with their guru. learning everything from Vedas, a sacred text, or sacred texts, plural, to archery and astronomy. It wasn't a 9 to 3 gig, it was a 24/7 immersion. Take the Mahabharata, the Pandavius and Karavius, trained under Dronashara. They mastered weapons, sure, but also discipline and ethics. The guru wasn't just dumping info. They were shaping their whole being, mind, body, and spirit. Students chopped wood. They fetched water. They learned humility alongside learning math. It was holistic, tailored to each kid's pace and potential. I hear the deer, I just don't see them. Got a little music going on in the background. Got an enemy camp there. I'm not dressed for it, but I probably could still take them and just take a little bit of time. I gotta work on my blacksmithing next weekend. Also gonna do my taxes. Yay! At any rate. There we go. Let me get into hunter mode. He's on a hill, so it's harder to judge the angle that I need. But it's not impossible, as you saw. I'm really looking for wool. I need wool. And I don't think I can take a bear. Let me try it, but I'll probably die. Honestly. I thought there was a bear around here. Maybe they stopped producing the bears as much because they knew the amount of people who will die from them. You need a party. Alright, anyway. So the Guru Shishasa bond was sacred. Or Shishas was sacred. Respect flowed both ways. The teacher saw the student's soul, not just their test scores. Imagine a teen struggling with a bow, and the guru patiently tweaking their stance until it clicks. That's education as a relationship, not a transaction. Why does it matter today? Well, what's the thread here? Well, Greece gave us questioning. China gave us virtue. And India gave us wholeness. These systems weren't about mass-producing workers. They were about crafting thinkers, citizens, humans. Contrast that with the United States system, born in the Industrial Revolution to churn out factory hands. Horace Mann wanted universal education. Awesome, great. But it got stuck in a one-size-fits-all rut. What did we learn from history? Some of the greatest thinkers, we individualized. We tailored to the individual, right? I'm kind of pausing because I need to look around. But if you need a view while I read this. So today we're asking, can we bring back the ancient spark? Critical thinking, moral grounding, personal connection. Those don't expire. As we move forward, think about this. How can we blend these old school vibes with what science and modern minds tell us? That's our bridge to the present. Let's cross it. All right, let's take a good hard look at the U.S. education system, how it got here, what's up with it today, and why it's creaking like an old barn in a windstorm. This is our starting point, our baseline. Before we start shaking things up with ancient ideas, modern science, and some fresh thinking, grab a snack. This is going to be deep, deep winding trip through history. Why? Well, you'll see. Numbers, I'll give you numbers, I'll give you stories, and the real deal of American schools in 2025. So let's look at the historical roots. Our story kicks off in the 1800s. Horace Mann, this guy, they call the father of public education. Born in 1796 in Franklin, Massachusetts. Mann grew up rough. He grew up, M-A-N-N, by the way, grew up rough. Think cold winters, patched clothes, and one-room schoolhouse. He'd sneak into between farm chores. He self-taught with library books and with a sprinkle or two of tutoring. He climbed to lawyer, then politician, and by 1837, he's in Massachusetts Secretary of Education. His big idea? Education is the backbone of a free society. In his fifth annual report in 1841, he wrote, education, I'm quoting him, education, beyond all other devices of human origin, is the great equalizer of the conditions of men. The balance, wheel of societal machine or social machine. Every kid, no matter where they came from, deserved a shot at learning. Sounds noble, right? Well, here's the twist. We had this thing called the Industrial Revolution that was in full swing at the time. Steam engines, cotton mills, railroads, and it just didn't sit in the background. It built the system. Man's, quote, common schools, unquote, weren't about dreamy debates. They were about boot camps for the industrial age. Reading, writing, arithmetic were the 3 R's. Place. Let me answer this, dude. All right. So where was I? So they were boot camps for the industrial age, right? So the 3 R's, plus a heavy dose of discipline to keep those factory lines rolling. Picture kids in straight rows, bells clanging like shift changes, learning to follow rules as much as to read. In 2019, a PBS feature put it sharp. Man borrowed from Persia, and man, the guy we're talking about, right? Horace Mann, borrowed from Prussia, which centralized, was efficient, and it was built to pump out workers. By 1850, Massachusetts had compulsory attendance. By 1900, 34 states jumped on board. Literacy hit 90% by the century's end, according to the census, which creditably a win for access. But what about the vibe? It was pure machine. And let's fast forward, right? I'm trying to read the conversation, the lower thing, while doing a discussion and hunting at night. So, yay me for trying to do like 3 different things at once. That is a shot. Got the moonlight with the deer and hunting. That was pretty cool, actually. I gotta give him props for that. It was scene. I need to think about that. All right. So, where were we here? Got the one. I think the other one just ran. There's a bear. That's a new feature, is that if you have a tree, they will that has an axe that can cut it down. Ah! Gotta stay away from that bear for right now until I figure out how to fight him. I used to be able to fight him very easily. Alright, let's get back to it. Alright, where were I? So, we were fast forwarding to the 1900s, right? Early 1900s. Well, this guy called John Dewey, might have heard of him, Dewey Decimal System. Trying to find him in my sites. That tree's in my way. I'm just wasting arrows at this point. There we go. I need wool. I don't need boars. I need to get to the stones. I didn't even think about it. That's where I should have been headed this entire time. That's alright. I think the stones are just up the road. You can make a left. Try to get up there, up the road. The drop some of the stuff I don't need. What's the suet? I don't need that much suet. There we go. Take the small animal honey, because that's a 2-pip. 2-pip? Anyway. I'm gonna go out. I think I'm basically going straight up this. Oh, there's the. I hate those things. They are so loud. So for the first time I heard those, it freaked me out so much. I was like, "What the hell? What's happening?" It was pretty good though. It's fun. Well, it was so long ago that a badger could kill me. Now it's just a. Oh, no. That was a waste of an arrow. And I don't need deer, but I'm doing this. I don't know why. They don't give me the gold. Oh, interesting. Alright, we get up this hill, and then I'll start with Dewey decimal system. There we go. Here's somebody mining. Let's see if he's anywhere near me. Nope. I'm in the stonelands now, so I'm looking for ore. We also have a bear up here, so I gotta be careful. Alright, anyway, so born in 1859 in Vermont, Dewey was a philosopher who thought schools were stuck in the Dark Ages. Go figure. Too much rote, or ROTE. Too much ritual, right? Looking at my already here he is. Too little life was his mantra. In a democracy and he wrote something, Democracy and Education in 1916. He said kids learn by doing, not reciting. Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. That's a direct quote. He wrote, imagine a classroom where kids build a bridge to grasp physics, or cook to nail fractions. Messy, hands-on, and real. Dewey's ideas stuck. Think science fairs or shop class. But the system didn't flip. It just tossed his flavor onto man's meat and potatoes base. So they didn't change anything. They just added to. Interesting, right? This is the stone ones, but iron ore. Very useful for me at the level I'm at. But honestly, I'm really looking for and there's iron ore way closer to me. Anything new? Usually there's like one or two more. Oh, that's a bear. They are a little bit more difficult in the stonelands, which means I can't take them at all. There's a bear to my left. I'll run by it. Or my right, excuse me. Should be a board somewhere. There we go. Two wolves. I can probably take them. Wow, that was close. Ooh, I missed one. I'm level 40, so me missing something is pretty impressive. Make sure that I'm okay. Alright. So let's continue here. So then the Cold War lights a fire, right? In October 4th, 1957, Sputnik zips into orbit. So let's just put that into perspective. From 1916 to 1957 is the next leap in educational when we threw something different into education. So Sputnik zips into orbit. Russia's winning, quote unquote, and the U.S. is sweating bullets. Life magazine actually said, quote, they're ahead. Like, absolutely insane, right? So Congress rushed the National Defense Education Act, or the NDEA, in 1958, dumped $1 billion in 1958 money, huge money back then, into STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Schools pivoted hard, cranking out brainiacs to beat the Soviets. So you look at somebody's uncle in high school in Ohio, getting into the chem lab in 1959. Philosophy club? Nope. By 1969, we're on the moon. STEM's a triumph. That push lingers. Why else are we showing or shoving coding camps at 10-year-olds today? It's history's echo, loud and clear. Well, what does it look like now? Well, today in the United States, systems are a patchwork quilt. Federal nudges, state stitches, and local quirks. Right? So you have the federal level, which nudges everybody, the state, which stitches everything together, and the locals, they have little quirks that they add to. The feds throw big policies into the mix. The No Child Left Behind, the NCLB, signed by George W. Bush in 2001, which pumped another $25 billion yearly to test scores. Annual testing from grades 3 to 8. Funds tied to results. I would say that one more time. The funds were tied to results. High stakes, high pressure, and by 2012, 48% of the schools, were failing under the NCLB or the ESSA as well, the Center on Education Policy is where I got that stat, 48%. Sparking a revolt, right? Enter the Every Student Success Act in 2015, or the ESSA. Obama's tweet, easing up, but keeping tests central. Still, states run the show. 50 systems, 50 styles. California's got tech-heavy charters. Mississippi's scraping by at $9K per kid, while New York drops $24K per kid. And this is, again, the Census Bureau in 2020. That's where I got that one. Standardized testings are the kingpin. SATs, ACTs, state exams, they're the keys to college. Jobs and the big leagues, they call it. Kids start cramming in middle school, sometimes earlier with tutors at $100 an hour a pop. Common Core hit 2010. Math and English standards sink to the chaos. The pitch? A kid in Texas learns the same algebra as the one in Maine. Adopted by 41 states. It's a hot mess of opinions. Picture somebody's sister in fifth grade. A fifth grade teacher in Oregon groans. I'm drilling equations when some kids can't multiply. It's the test. Not for them. Or I should say, it's the test, not them. That's what they say. The teacher said, it's the test. It's not me. Critics call it a corporate cash grab. Pearson, which is a book company, pulls in $1.7 billion yearly on testing. This is from Forbes 2022. Fans say it's consistency. Either way, the system's pulses. It's a system. Excuse me. Let me read my note. It's the system's pulse. Bells, schedules, desks in rows, hollering, quote, factory model, unquote, like a steam whistle. Text the new kid. By 2025, 85% of the classrooms have one-on-one devices. This is EdTech 2024 that gave me that stat. Thanks to ESSA's grants, mind you. Sounds slick. It's patchy. Rural schools wrestle with spotty Wi-Fi, while suburban ones flaunt VR labs. Add charters. 7,800 nationwide. NCES 2023 gave me that stat. And homeschooling, 5 million kids, up to 10% in 2020. It's even higher now. It's a quilter, stitched with hope and hustle. All right, let's start hunting a little bit, and I'll go into the critique. The numbers tell a tale, but not of triumph. Oh, there's another guy over there. Where's he coming up? I hear the bear. I don't want to mess with the bear. Like I said, I used to be able to take the bears. I just got to figure out a way to take the bears again. They modified them in the update. That's alright, joking. Back in the forest, though, one of the more the. That's right. There's a lot of bears in this area. I remember like a ton of bears. I don't think there's anything I have to worry about going down this road. Possibly could be. I know there's some angry possums, badgers. Let's see what's going on. If you have any questions so far, or anything you want me to lightly touch on again, just throw it in the comments or throw it in the chat. If I remember right, these badgers are over here. Doesn't look like they. Yeah. Wait, there he is. There he goes. It's the other guy. There he comes. See what I mean by just angry? They are angry. And it's an angry one. Oh, you want to come at me? Come on. Jump. So I can attack. It just makes it look really good if I'm moving like this. It actually does nothing in the game. Can't believe I blocked that one. That is amazing. Ah, he was really close to him. That's why he attacked me. That's alright. Alright, so here's where it gets real, right? And it's a mess. We can't dodge it. I'm going to turn down the background noise just a little bit. The National Assessment of Education Progress, the NAEP for short, the nation's report card, drops tough numbers. In 2019, pre-COVID, 35% of fourth graders and 34% of eighth graders hit proficient in reading. Math, 41% and 34%. Over half aren't making it. So what's the holdup? Post-COVID, 2022 scores crashed reading down 3 more points, math down 5 to 7 points. The worst dip in 30 years, says the NAEP. Testing's a monster. The NEA says teachers spend 20 to 30 hours a year prepping. 50 states, 50 in states like Texas. So 20 to 30 hours a year prepping, 50 hours prepping in states like Texas. That's weeks lost to bubble sheets, not breakthroughs. In 2021, OECD, the PISA report, ranks the U.S. 15-year-olds 13th in reading, 37th in math, behind Estonia, with half of our $14,000 per kid spent as of the census 2020. Finland's 526 reading to our 505. That's the PISA 2022. And they do it on 7K. Money's not the magic wand here. Engagement is a slow bleed. Gallup's 2016 poll stated 50% of the students feel engaged, 33% actively disengaged, such as doodling, clock watching, or just simply gone. By 2023, EdWeek's survey in 67% of the high schoolers called school, quote, boring and or, quote, irrelevant. Okay. Mental health's taking hits. The CDC said in 2021, notes that 37% of the teens felt persistent sadness, up from 26% in 2010. Testing stress and packed days, no wiggle room. Kids aren't learning. They're grinding. A 2024 APA study ties high-stakes tests to a 15% jump in anxiety cases. This is an education. It's a marathon with no finish line. Teachers are fraying too. In 2022, the NEA survey found 55% plan to quit early. Burnouts are up 20% since 2019. And if you have somebody in that boat, I mean, maybe there's a teacher with 13 years drowning in paperwork, 35 kids per class, no time to connect. Quote, they might say, I'm a test proctor, not a teacher. Turnover is 16% yearly. And the NCES in 2023 stated, double the pre-COVID. Newbies bolt from tough schools in 3 years flat. Funding's a roller coaster. 738 billion total in 2020, said the census. But state cuts post-COVID, left gaps. In 2023, Education Week report says 30% of the districts slashed staff. Class sizes balloon. Resources are thin. That's a lot of statistics, right? Let's put a face to this. Let's say there's this kid called Sarah. A junior in Portland aced her SATs, 1,500, college bound, but hates school. She says, it's all cramming. She says, I love painting, but art's 2 periods a week, maths every day. I'll never use calculus. She's a creator in a test taker's cage. Then there's Jamal. Let's say 14 in Detroit. Loves science, built a solar car from YouTube, but his school's library is half stocked. The chem lab's a storage room. His teacher is juggling 40 kids. No help there. He says, I want to be an engineer. But they don't teach us how to build. How about a principal in Georgia? Let's just make stuff up, right? These might be actual. Let me see tell me if you can relate. We're testing kids to death, not teaching them to live. 3rd graders cry over state exams. Let's go to a sophomore in Ohio. Perhaps they're saying, school's a game I don't want to play. Nothing ties to my life. Perhaps there's a coach. We'll call him Dan. Retired shop teacher. He's a retired shop teacher. And now, he goes, let's see if I can put this in context. He grumbles, we used to build cabinets. Now it's worksheets about wood. These are systems pulse. Here it is. People are frustrated. They're stretched. And they're yearning to learn. So what was forged in 1900 factories, or 1900? Factories, order, steady jobs. Man wanted workers. Dewey added spark. Sputnik, well, that chased rockets. But in 2025, AI's rewriting work. McKinsey 2023 says in 30% of the tasks could automate by 2030. I would actually move that up a little bit of a percentage. Climate's pressing. NASA. Well, there's climate interests, right? We have to look at the data. There's a gig economy. 36% of workers in the Bureau of Labor Statistics in 2022, freelancer. So you have a 30% or 36% gig economy. Freelancers need grit, not grades. Schools pump out test takers, not problem solvers. The UNESCO in 2023, their report pegs global ed spending at a staggering $5 trillion. The US is $700 billion, but the results are lagging. We're stuck in a 19th century rut. Ancient systems had depth. Socrates, why? It lit fires. Gurukuls, care shaped souls. Confucius wove purpose. Today, bells and bubble sheets or spreadsheets. A 2024 RAND study says 40% of the grades feel career ready. Germany's trade system hits 70%. We're preparing for a world that's dust, not the ones kids face. Now, let's pivot, right? And I'm going to take a non-sponsored drink. Hit me in the comments or the chat if you have any questions. I think these stats are staggering, at least the ones I found, right? You might have found something different. It's called learning. Let's talk about it, right? So So can we fix it? Of course we can. Ancient wisdom, like Socrates, questions. Modern research, like personalized learning's 20% lift, that's Rand in 2017, says yes. Sarah needs creativity. Jamal needs tools. Miss Carter needs freedom. This system's not serving, it's stalling. Let's crack it open with personal learning next. Let's see how we can rebuild for 2025. So we're shifting gears. Personal learning is where education stops being a conveyor belt and starts being about you. I think I know this area. I'm gonna go this way. I gotta be careful because there's a lot of bears that I don't run into. Definitely want to go this way. Like I said, after the update, everybody's shifted, so I gotta make sure that I... By the way, if you hadn't noticed on the game, as the light passes my character, you can see my shadow on the trees. Pretty cool. And the distance that you can actually see that's rendered is pretty far away. So again, really cool. See if I can bring him over. Notice I'm not worried about my health right now. Little pro tip. I'm in the middle of combat, so I should have ate before I did this, but I'm not really worried about it. Because I know how to fight this thing. There's some enemies to the right that I don't need to worry about them. Wow, that went right over him. There we go. What I'll do to go around these guys so I don't have to fight them. Just go under the bridge. These guys are Inquisitors if you don't know the game. They're fairly easy to kill, but I really don't want to deal with them right now. Okay. So we're shifting gears. Personal learning is where education stops being a conveyor belt and starts being about you. I should actually start losing some of these things that I don't need. That. I really don't need that, but you know what? I'm gonna take it just because. And let's just do this real quick. And then we'll get back into the education. Wow. Really? There we go. Let him attack. I get my 4 attacks. Wow. Wow. Interesting. I'm just noticing one of my control features that I did. Ah, come on. There we go. Really don't need any more deer. I think there's 2 bears up here. Maybe when I come and test myself, I'll come over and check out those bears again. Usually I can take it, like I said, they change it. Okay. It's not about the system cramming you into a box. It's about cracking that box open and letting your mind run free. Today, we're blending those ancient roots, like Socrates, grilling the folks in Athens with modern science that says, quote, hey, this actually works. So buckle up. We're going deep into history, research, stories, and some real how-to juice to show, man, I don't know why I write these notes that way. Golly. And we're going to show why personal learning's the spark we need in 2025 or beyond. Grab this guy real quick. I don't think I crossed the border. Trying to think of where I can go. I need more wool. Need more wool. If I remember right. If I get down here. I don't know if they changed them out. See what's going on. Looks like they took away a lot of animals throughout here. There we go. Why am I got like crap here. Okay, there, that's why. Because I actually have crap. I'm carrying. Alright, so animal hide is mine. Rough animal hide, don't care. That's a rough animal hide. That's a rough animal hide. Okay. Oh, they have them here. Let's see if they come after me now. They used to be stuck. That is hard to hit, actually. It's like a pincushion, man. That's funny. You can see as the circle goes down, the more accurate your shot becomes because you're holding it a little bit longer. I thought I canceled out of that. That's okay. I'm up. Yep. And then we'll throw some stuff out because I don't need it. All right. $29 from that, huh? Interesting. I didn't think I'd take that much. I think there's actually 2 more over here. So we're going to see if we can attract them. If they're still here. That's a great bear. Don't want to pull that over. There we go. Yeah, definitely don't want to bring the bear over at the same time. There we go. Alright, let's see what I don't want. Like, I have so much more meat, it's not even funny. Let's see what's going on over here. Okay. Alright, so... let's kick off with Socrates, right? Let's go back to our ancient roots, because we got the Greek troublemaker who turned teaching upside down during his lifetime, right? And again, he's around 470 to 399 BC. So this guy didn't mess around. He didn't lecture or hand out scrolls. He asked questions. The Socratic method was his personal learning on steroids. A one-on-one brain wrestle called Elenchus. Cross-examination that dug into your soul. We mentioned this before, right? Plato, with Ethapyro. Well, it wasn't. It's not about Socrates spoon feeding the answers. It's about your answers. He tailored every chat to the guy in front of them, right? Pushing a merchant one way and pushing a soldier another, right? Making them wrestle with their own logic. In 2022, a study from Harvard, Project Zero, backs this by personalized questioning boosts critical thinking 30% over lectures. Imagine a teacher today ditching the script and asking, "Why do you think this matters?" Instead of, "Memorize this for Friday." That's Socrates alive. Education as a spark, not a stamp. But it wasn't just Greece. It was Confucius. He had his own spin. His analects are packed with gems like, I hear and I forget. I see and I do. I understand. He pushed learning as a personal quest. Study the classics, sure. But reflect, tweak, make it yours. Picture a kind of ancient Shandong, poring over poetry, then debating with his teacher, not to ace a test, but to grow into Junzi, a noble soul. Confucius tailored it too. Different advice for shy student versus a cocky. That's personal learning. Ancient, human, and alive, right? So let's fast forward to the 20th century, right? Malcolm Knowles steps up, the guru of adult learning. Born in 1913 in Nebraska, he went from a farm kid to a PhD, obsessed with how grown-ups learn. His big idea? Androgyny? No. Andragogy? Andragogy. Adult education versus pedagogy for kids. In The Adult Learner, in 1973, he laid out, I'm about to hit somebody's house. I crossed the barrier, but it seems I'm okay. See if it springs me back. Am I... Interesting. I cannot jump. I wonder if the glitch is still happening. Repairing all my stuff before I get into do that. Okay, so let's so The Adult Learner in 1973, he laid it out, right? Adults learn best when it's relevant, self-directed, and hands-on. You need to know why you're learning. Plan it yourself and use it now, not next semester. So take somebody, a 40-year-old mechanic. That person could teach himself coding on YouTube, not for a degree, but to fix a car's software. Wow. That took forever for it to happen. I knew I was lagging, but I didn't think it was that long. Gee whiz. That was a long time. I wonder if, yeah, now I can jump. Looks like, oh, except for my bow. Let's see if I can fix my bow. It looks like the repair is actually weird, right? Anyway, let me do this real quick. And then I can put it there. And then I'll put these over here. Go and put this other stuff away, and we'll begin the lecture a little bit more here in a second. Sorry, this is important that I do this, because if I don't, I will forget. I forget. That's right. That's my fast path down, but I didn't need to do that because I'm just going to put it here. There we go. There we go. Okay. So this guy learned software, coding, but to fix car software, right? 6 months later, he's troubleshooting diagnostics like a pro. You know, he's pocketing the extra cash. Why? Because he chose to do it. It mattered to him, and it worked. Knowles in 1980 research backs this. Adults with autonomy score 25% higher on retention than those who are spoon-fed. A 2023 Journal of Adult Education study doubled down on this. Self-directed learners retain 35% more long-term. It's not fluffy. It's brain science. When you care, your neurons fire harder. Then there's David Call, born in 1939, who took it to the streets with experimental learning. Experiment, yeah, exper. Sorry. Basically, experience learning. Experiential learning. God, it took me a minute. His 1984 theory of a four-step dance. Do something, which gives you experience. Think about it, which reflects on what you did. Figure it out, which is conceptual. Then try again. Experiment with it. Picture a kid baking cookies. The first batch burns. She checks the timer, learns the heat control, nails it next time. Or he does. It doesn't matter. That's called in action. Your cycle, your pace. In 2018, a Stanford study found that this ups engagement 40% over lectures. 40% over lectures. Kids stay hooked when they're in the driver's seat. Did you ever try to rebuild a carburetor? I tried on my lawnmower. Messed up. Then I was thinking about it, right? Then I was like, all right, if I do this before I do that, or if I hold this before I hold that, and then I nail it next time, right? And I did. It's learning that sticks because it's yours. So let's spotlight Sir Ken Robinson, education's rock star, born in 1950 in Liverpool. He saw schools as creativity killers. In Creative Schools, 2015, the book, he wrote, quote, human resources are like natural resources. They're often very deep. You have to go looking for them. What was his beef? The system's not a mold stamping out test takers. Or the system is a mold, excuse me. It's stamping out test takers, not talents. He actually did a TED Talk. And he said, do schools kill creativity? 70 million views since 2006. I didn't check the views recently. I suppose it hit a nerve, right? He told a story about Gillian Lynn, a fidgety kid in the 1930s. Teachers thought she was trouble. A doctor said, she's a dancer. She choreographed cats, by the way. Personal learning saw her spark when the system saw a problem. Robinson's push, dig into your strengths. Art, mechanics, science, whatever lights you up. Some standardized checklists, not some standardized checklists. In 2021, Education Week In 2021, Education had a piece that echoed him. 60% of teachers say kids thrive when lessons flex to their interests. I see this a lot with students. They flunk something, but if they do something else, like build a robot from scratch or design something from scratch or even draw something, that represents what we're actually trying to draw, after they looked at the materials to help them or drive them into those, right? Robinson's not dreaming. He's dead on. And the science is loud and clear on this. Rand's 2017 study tracked 11,000 students. Personalized learning added 3 months worth of math and reading gains yearly over traditional setups. Stanford's 2020 dive into adaptive tech, like Khan Academy, found 20% better test scores when kids set the pace. Why? The brain loves control. fMRI scans show higher prefrontal cortex activity when you choose, which came in Nature magazine 2019. Harvard's Project Zero 2022 says Personalized feedback doubles motivation. Think a teacher saying, here's what you nailed, not the class average is 75. A 2023 EdSci study threw in a curveball. Students picking projects, say coding versus writing, scored 28% higher on retention 6 months later. UENESCO's 2024 report. God, can you get any name that's longer than that? That your acronym is even long? Anyway, their report on global trends found personalized approaches cut dropout rates by 15%. Kids stay when it's theirs. Even neuroscience chimes in. In 2021, Journal of Cognitive Science, this piece says self-directed learning boosts dopamine. That's the feel chemical, making it addictive in a good way, in the best way, right? So let's ground this in reality. So Khan Academy, Sal Khan's brainchild, lets you master algebra at your speed. A 2021 study showed that users jumped 15% in proficiency after 3 months. My neighbor kid went from D's to B's, grinning the whole way. Coursera took a 30-something mechanic who took Python and landed a tech gig on the side. Self-paced, practical. Knowles would have high-fived them. Coursera's 2023 data says 70% of the learners finish when they pick the path. Let's look at YouTube. If you learn guitar from tutorials, zero classroom, you could probably get gigs at coffee shops. A 2022 Pew survey said 51% of the teens that use YouTube for skills, free, personal, and booming. Let's look at DIY Dad, right? People who look at or try to rebuild, let's say, a 67 Mustang engine. They watch videos, they tear it apart, they figure it out. There's no certificate. But at the end, they're proud. And it's a roaring V8 log. Can you get any better than that? So, how do you do this? At home, pick a passion. Cooking, woodworking, whatever, and dive in. But mine, podcasting. Not a really passion, but I learned about it because I want to bring these topics, these ancient learnings to the masses. That's why I'm here, right? So you pick a passion and dive in. Watch a video. I've watched tons. In cooking, you burn a dish. You tweak it. You taste it, and you get a win, right? Let me see if I have any more. Well, that one. I'm looking for when the circle gets big by bigger, and then that's when you're looking in the actual cabinet that you want to look in. Otherwise, you're looking in the wrong cabinet. Like that time, in the wrong cabinet. It's all right then. Your cabinets get too close together. Cabinets are actually a high-level item. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's look downstairs and see if we have any more. Nothing there. That's food. I usually mark them, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes. Sometimes I put things in where I shouldn't have put them in the first place. There's that. My guy is stuck in a graphic loop. So now I'm just checking random stuff for all my wool. Probably throw away a lot of this. Space is a commodity. In those. But whoa, did I? No way. Yeah, way. Right there. Can't believe I caught that. It's more arrow stuff. Nah, this is wood. I know it's wood. I would not have stuck wool into a wood area. It's so much stuff. And I can make more. That's tools. That's jewelry. You probably get rid of that too. There. I think this is just my alchemy stuff. I'm gonna get rid of all those because they're useless to me. They updated the thing and they didn't make a wrought iron greatsword, they made a steel greatsword. And all your wrought iron components are no longer useful. I don't know. That's pretty much where all my wool would be. What do I have? I got some. Let's get back. Let's do anyway. All right. So let's make it happen. So how do we do this? So, like I was saying, pick a passion. No pressure, just curiosity. Like if you want to grill ribs in a way that maybe somebody, your family or somebody you invite over begs for seconds. Like, man, this is so pretty. How about classrooms where in classrooms teachers can flex? They offer a choice: write an essay or build a model. If you look at some classrooms, perhaps somebody, did a Civil War unit, right? So half would write papers and half would build forts. All learned deep, right? But it's also up to the instructor too and the teacher. How about texts? If you text like wingman, or I should say technology is your wingman. Apps like Khan or Duolingo adapt to you. But the real trick, but what's the real trick, right? Hand over the reins. Let kids or you chase the clicks. Or chase what clicks, I should say. For adults, it's the same game. You want to learn welding? In the shop. Watch, weld some scrap. Now, some things cost, right? So you might have to get an apprenticeship or something. A 2023 BLS Bureau of Labor Standards report said 40% of tradespeople self-train, at least partly. There's no school needed. It's Socrates. Why? With a modern twist. Learn what matters, when it matters. Personal learning it has roots. Socrates, Confucius, even the Gurukul's one-on-one care, saying you're not a car. Your mind you're a mind with a path. Science backs autonomy wires your brain to care and to stick with it. The U.S. system, or the U.S. system's mass model, you got bills, tests, one size fits all. It misses this. In 2024, EdTech survey found 65% of the students want more control. 70% of the teachers agree it works. It's not mass. It's yours. Or I should say, it's not en masse. You don't want to learn en masse. It's your learning. Ancient wisdom meets 2025 tech. It's electronic. Next, let's see how it plays out at work, because learning doesn't stop at graduation. Workplace learning is where education shakes hands with the paycheck, where you turn know-how into do-how, into doing, right? This is about classrooms. This isn't, about classrooms or diplomas. It's about getting the job done, growing skills that pay the bills, and thriving in a real world. Today, we're mixing a lot of old school grit, like medieval apprenticeships, with cutting edge science to see how it all comes together. Grab a seat. This is going to be meaty, hands on, ride through history, research, stories, and some straight up practical applications for 2025. So, historical roots. We got apprenticeship. That's the original playbook, isn't it? Way back in medieval Europe, where apprenticeships were the gold standard of learning a trade. Picture a scrappy 14-year-old in, say, 1300s London, stepping onto a blacksmith's forge. The air's thick with soot. The hammer's ringing, his eyes wide and soaking it all in. Let me put these away. I know, I'm totally putting you on the edge. Living on the edge. And speaking of apprenticeships, I would say I'm in the game. I'm not an apprentice anymore, but I'm not a master in a lot of my skills. Like my leather working, I'd probably be still learning. Well, I am still learning. I'm looking for fine leather, not boiled leather. There we go. All right. Let's go up to the top floor, and what I'll do is give you a little bit of view as I'm talking about this next section. Maybe over here. We'll do this. There you go. My neighbor's view with the river. It's nice, right? Okay. So we're talking about this European, he's soaking it all in, this apprentice. For years, sometimes 7 or more, he'd watch, hammer, sweat, learning every trick of the trade. It wasn't casual, it was a system. Guilds made it formal. You started as an apprentice, you grind your way to journeyman. And if you got the chops, you'd hit master or the master status, right? It was personal. Your master knew your quirks, your shaky grip, your knack for shaping iron, and he'd push you to grow. Take tailoring in medieval England. A kid might spend a decade mastering stitches, the running stitch, back stitch, hemming, all under the master's eagle eye. But at the end, wasn't just skilled, he was the trick. Ready to open his own shop or her own shop, right? In 2018, History Today, there's a History Today piece that pegs it. Apprenticeships accounted for 80% of the skilled labor by 1400. Smiths, weavers, carpenters, you name it. Across the pond, in ancient India's Gurukul system, It had a twist. Students learned archery or pottery alongside of their group, hands on, tailored to their pace. In China, Confucian scholars mention that pupils in calligraphy, mentored pupils in calligraphy and ethics, tweaking lessons for each one. That's the vibe. Learning wasn't en masse, it was yours, built on sweat and trust. Fast forward to the early days of America. Ben Franklin, at the age of 12, apprenticed with his brother James, who was a printer. He set type, inked presses, learned the craft by doing, not reading. By 17, he's running his own gig. Or Richard's Almanac came from that grind. This hands-on personal model stuck by 1900. Or I should say, by 1900, the U.S. trade schools echoed, training machinists and plumbers for the industrial boom. It's the OG playbook. Watch, try, master. So let's jump to the 20th century after I take a sip, right? This is going to go long because this is so important. Let me see where I am. Let me put a highlight. Oop, that totally sucked. I just want to do this, and I want to highlight it so I can come back to it. I want to look at my notes and see how much material what we might do is we'll end it here, and then tomorrow night I'll do a 119A, because we have a lot to go through. We just went through the history, really. Now we're starting to get into the what people are doing and when people are doing it, right? So let's stop here at the 20th century. So we'll kind of go over what we went over tomorrow, and I'm hoping to play the game a little bit more. But I think you're starting to see where I'm going with the series and where we should be going with education. And I got a lot more to go over. I talk about Mike Rowe and his push for trade schools, right? My son is becoming a pilot. It's awesome, right? It's trade. A couple of my neighbors and one of my work colleagues' sons, they both went into welding. It's amazing. These kids, these young men, mind you, are now going to be the next generation that takes over our society. And it's so imperative that we give them the tools to succeed at life. Well, anyway, there's a lot going on. Give me a comment in the comment section. Like I said, tomorrow we're going to start to sew this up and actually craft what I think today's education should be like. And you know what? I might just start a school. Why not? We have the tech. I have the know-how. I just need to pull in the experts who know a little bit more than I do. Perhaps we craft these. Perhaps this is the beginning of something great, something that we can really sink our teeth into as learners, as lifelong learners. Who says you have to graduate at a certain age, in a certain grade? It's absolutely insane, isn't it? After this date, you are now, you have this degree, so go forth and prosper. It's absolutely insane if you think about it in those terms. We went through it. I mean, I'm old enough to have gone through that period where it was a one size fits all. An institution, as who was it? It was Iron Eagle quote. I forget who it was. It was Lou Gossett Jr., I believe it was. His character goes, "We'll send this kid to an institution where he can be protected. And one of the judges at the time was like, "So you want to send them to prison?" Oh, the Air Force Academy. It is an institution for sure. But I think you're starting to get my sentiment here. So let's finish it up tomorrow. Like I said, comment, like, share, subscribe. I'll try Rumble again sometime. Maybe, I don't know. Rumble, I will put these on Rumble for sure. And I'll do shorts, like YouTube shorts, for learning. I've been doing it for a couple of the series that I'm doing now, like stoicism and beliefs, values, how we get there, because this is all integrated. And there has to be one solid level of society, right? What society accepts. We talked about societies. We talked about the pitfalls of societies. We talked about how to craft a society that it will endure test of time. Go ahead and check those episodes out. They're my previous episodes. I want to say they start at like 116, maybe 117. But go ahead and check them out on Rumble, YouTube. I'm on X, of course. And I am on LinkedIn, and I write a lot of articles about ancient wisdom and what we can do in leadership today as a society, as leaders in our positions at companies. For example, just to bring it full circle, I'm learning React because I have to. But when I really want to anyway, because my team needs me to help out. So if I learn this language, I'll be able to help out. Now, I have tech tools to help me do this. In this case, I'm going to the Code Academy. Code Academy is okay. It's okay. I'm not going to give it, high marks or anything, honestly, because there's different ways to code, and they want a very specific way of coding, and they only code that absolute. So if you hit the run button, and it should work, and it would work any other place, they were like, "No, you don't have an exact name." I'm like, that doesn't teach me anything. It just frustrates me into conforming into what you want me to code. They don't give reason. So if they give me a reason, I'll probably accept it. Anyway, but that's my journey, my education journey for work. I do podcast learning. I do studies in music because I have a music channel. How do you craft a lyric? What sets the instrumental direction or the vocal direction? There's all these components that I'm learning because I want to. Check out the what did I call it? The illusion. What did I call it? The illusion echo, I think. Anyway, check out my channels, YouTube and Rumble, and visit me on X. Throw me a follow on X, and we can talk about the subjects that you want to talk about in later episodes. Tomorrow, I'll finish this up. And with all that said, like I said, please like, share, subscribe, and get engaged, because engagement is how we learn. With all that said, let's end it today. So have a great day, have a great night, no matter where you are in the world. And let's be kind to one another. Let's craft society into the ultimate nice, trustworthy society that we can possibly get. And I'll help you each step of the way to try to craft that. With all that said, I will see you tomorrow.
With every step, a lesson learned. From fire's heat to the fields I've turned. The blade and bow, the forge and flame. I sharpen my skills, I play the game. Each day brings a challenge I must face. I train my hands with careful grace, from alchemy's art to the hunter's way. I'll find the strength to seize the day. I carve my path, I walk the line, in the shadow of the ancient sign. Through trial and toil I'll find my way, learning more with each passing day. The skill of survival, the will to thrive, in a world where the strong survive. I'll face the night, I'll take the chance, I'm ready to fight, to learn to dance. For every strike and every fall, I'm building my strength, I'm standing tall. In the heart of the wild and the calm of the night, I gather my skills, I'm ready to fight. From the herbs I find to the iron I mold, each lesson learned is a story told. The stars above, they guide my hand, as I hold my craft, I take my stand. In the quiet woods, in the mountains chill, I push myself, I shape my will. With each new tool and every lore, I'm stronger now than I was before. I carve my path, I walk the line, in the shadow of the ancient sign. Through trial and toil I'll find my way, learning more with each passing day. The skill of survival, the will to thrive, in a world where the strong survive. I'll face the night, I'll take the chance, I'm ready to fight, to learn to dance. For every strike and every fall, I'm building my strength, I'm standing tall. In the heart of the wild and the calm of the night, I gather my skills, I'm ready to fight. The road is long, but I won't turn back. The lessons I learned keep me on track. With each new skill, the stronger I grow. In the face of the storm, I let my courage show. I've tasted defeat, I felt the sting, but I rise again with each new spring. For knowledge is power, and wisdom the key. I'm forging my path, I'm breaking free. The skill of survival, the will to thrive, in a world where the strong survive. I'll face the night, I'll take the chance, I'm ready to fight, to learn to dance. For every strike and every fall, I'm building my strength, I'm standing tall. In the heart of the wild and the calm of the night, I gather my skills, I'm ready to fight.